Hi, I'm Jake Deffinbaugh, and welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, a podcast where me and my friends talk about nostalgic moments and pop culture from our childhoods. We interview people such as actors, producers, composers, puppeteers, and more. We'll be sharing our favorite memories, talk about behind-the-scenes moments, and so much more. I'm your host, Jake Deffinbaugh, and welcome to this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode. Hi everyone, welcome to the 29th episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. I'm your host, Jake Deffinbaugh, and my co-hosts we have for today, Chris Bixby, Matt Bingo, his pal, Julius, Matthew Johnson, and Wyatt McCullough. How are you guys?
We're good.
Doing good.
Great. Really good.
Very awesome to hear. Well, Chris.
30 episodes soon.
Yep, 29 episodes, which is crazy.
So today, we have two people, because we've had a few episodes where we have two guests. Today, one of the guests is someone whose music videos have been featured on Playhouse Disney and Noggin. He's Dan Zanes, and we also have his wife, Claudia. How are you two
We're
doing
today? Well, and I want to apologize. Our dog in the background.
That's fine. He wants to say hi.
Yeah.
That's just saying hi.
Yeah, they're just saying,
That's okay.
Hi.
Yeah.
Full house.
Yeah, it's fine.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's an audience member.
Oh, yeah,
We have an audience member.
So, the first question to start off for both of you is, what you got into being musicians and singers?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Jake. Well, so my family comes from the island of Haiti, and my family was a very musical family. We've been making music all, for as long as we can remember. Music has been a part of our life. And so I would say at a very early age, I was musical. I was singing in choirs at church. I was singing with my family. So I would say from a very early age, I knew that music was important to me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
I started making music when I was about 8 years old, and I grew up in New Hampshire, and Claudia actually grew up in New Hampshire too.
Oh, wow.
And,
That's cool.
Yeah, I heard a record by Leadbelly, and it made me want to play guitar. And I knew when I was 8 years old, I knew what I wanted to do, and I've literally been doing it ever since. And the great thing is that I've been playing music my entire life because of Leadbelly's music, but it wasn't until 5 years ago when I met Claudia that I heard the sound that I'd been carrying in my head for my whole life. I heard the sound when Claudia and I started singing together.
Yeah, it was magical from the very beginning. The first day we met, Dan and I met, we made music for like 5 hours straight.
Wow.
We just sang song. Yeah, it was song after song after song. And music is just a beautiful way to get to know someone else. So we've been doing that ever since. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
So, who are some of your inspirations? Who are some of your inspirations for music?
Dan, take that one.
All right. Well, Leadbelly, as I said, but I liked when I lived up in Canada. There was this husband and wife duo named Ian and Sylvia, and I always like that. I like harmony. I like harmony singing. When people sing together. I like that, and I like Bob Dylan, and these days we listen to a lot of gospel music, and we listen to, what I listen to now? And Claudia listens to it too, because we're in the same house, of course, but Django Reinhardt. Jazz guitar player. And so there's a part of every day where I'll go sit on the couch, and Claudia is usually upstairs making soap, and I'll sit on the couch with our dog Resi, and we'll put on some Django Reinhardt music, and we'll listen to that. And so that's a very special part of every day, because whenever I hear his guitar playing, it makes me laugh, because I can't even believe that a human being, is able to do that with the guitar. It's like something from outer space.
Yeah.
Nice. Are those your inspirations?
Yep. And how about you?
Yeah, so for me, I was raised listening to gospel music. So Shirley Caesar was a big inspiration to me. I just loved what she sang about. She sang about, stories that I could relate to, but her sound was always a very big and inviting sound. So I've seen her in concert a few times, and the way I watched her work a room, if you will, like the way she would sing and it would bring people, draw people in, was always very inspirational to me. And also the message, the uplifting message of the songs that she sang. I also love Nina Simone, jazz pianist and vocalist. And her sound to me, something about the way her sound was very, to me, not really polished. She just sang from the heart. When I listen to Nina Simone, I hear a sound that is very honest and real. And it doesn't, I know she's trained classically and all of that, but there's something that's so honest and unrefined to me in her voice that just really hits the heart. And again, the content that she sings about. I love that she sings her truth and she sings about issues happening in the world. And it was just a way to draw me in I learned about her as a teenager. So that was really inspirational. And I don't know, who else? The Indigo Girls. I'm a big fan of the Indigo Girls because I am a lover of harmony and lush harmony that's on top of each other, layered harmony is just beautiful. So I love their songwriting. I love their sound, the guitar playing. And I love making music with this man right here, our harmony singing. So that's really inspiring.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Julius, what were you going to say? I thought Matt was going to say something.
No, I was just saying that entirely makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a small bubble. There's so much inspiration. There's so many more who inspire us musically. So.
I bet.
Yeah.
So for Dan, so before you started making children's music, I know you worked with the Del Fuegos. What was that like? What was that experience like?
It was a good experience for me. It was about 10 years of my life, and I went away to college, and I went and I dropped out after a year. But the reason I went to college was to start a band. That was the top reason. Education was somewhere below that, but I went to start a band, and I started a band on the first day of college, and so we dropped out and we went to Boston. And the thing about playing in a rock band was it was like folk music to me too, because it didn't even feel like a show if people weren't dancing. So music. Yeah. We talk about our music now as social music, and even though that was rock and roll, it was social music too, because it was meant to bring people together. So that's what I always feel is the beautiful thing about music, is it has this possibility to bring people together. It's less about having people look at me jump around on stage in a pair of tight pants, and more about how can music connect us all to each other.
Yeah, I can see that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. So for Dan, how did the idea of making music for children come about?
It came about because my daughter was born in 1994, and I was thinking about the Leadbelly music that I mentioned to you earlier. Yeah. And Leadbelly played music for adults, but he was also very interested in playing music for young people. So when I was a young person, I heard Leadbelly's music, and what it was it was a window for me as a kid, a shy, kind of lonely kid growing up in New Hampshire. I could listen to Leadbelly's music, and it was a window to the world outside. He wasn't singing about learning to eat with a fork or learning to put on a pair of short pants or tie your shoes or anything related to kids. He was singing for kids about a much bigger world. So I wanted to make music in that spirit for my daughter and her friends. And I was still making pop music at the time, and nobody cared about my pop music, but everybody wanted to know more about this music I was making for my daughter and her friends. And I thought, this feels right to me. I want to keep doing it. So I made a decision No more rock and roll, no more pop music. I'm going to start a record company, and I'm going to focus my entire life on making this all ages music that includes kids. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Any fun experiences while working with the group Dan Zanes Friends, Dan?
Yeah, I'll tell you. You know what? I'll tell you the best experience. The best experience of all was in the very beginning. I was playing with a couple guys that I knew.
Yeah.
And we played down the street from where I lived in Brooklyn. We played at a school, PS 29. And I was telling my friend Mike Feldstein about the concert, and I said, it was a beautiful situation because there were white kids, black kids, Asian kids, Latino kids. It's like a multicultural mix of kids in the audience. And so we're singing a group, a diverse selection of songs to celebrate this audience. And Mike said, "Let me ask you a question." He said, "Who were you playing with?" And I said, "Some dads that I knew." And he said, "Oh, were they white guys?" And I said, "Yeah, because that's all I ever knew, because that was the world that I moved in." And and he said, "So what do you think the experience was like for the black girls in the audience compared to the white boys?" And it was such a wild question. I'd never considered that before, but as I thought about it, I had to imagine it was probably different, And so we had a longer conversation. And in that conversation, I decided that I would try and have a band, a multiracial group of men and women playing together, so that kids in the audience could look up on the stage and see themselves in the band. And so I made a decision that that's what I would do, because it felt like that was the right thing to do. And I did it. But my life got so much better because the music got better, and everything got better because I was creating a space for different voices and different experiences. Yeah. And so that was, so when you see pictures of my band, you see that, Father Goose was in the band. Yeah. You see men and women playing together. You see Sonia de los Santos from Mexico, Elena Moon Park, who's Korean-American, Yoshi Wacky, who's Japanese, all of us together, Colin Brooks, African-American. And so everybody brought something really unique to the band. And so that to me was what made us special. And my job wasn't being a big genius. My job was just bringing everybody together so they could shine.
And what an enriching experience too for the kids that get to experience that kind of a show. And too. Everybody wins. The music's better. The audience is fulfilled. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is probably a big question, but do you have a favorite song or album that you did with Dan Zanes and Friends?
I think "Catch That Train" is my favorite.
That is a classic.
It's such a good song.
Thank you. That's the one that won the Grammy, and that's when we were really at the sort of, we were on Disney at that time, and it was kind of the top of our popularity. So it was a very exciting time. And I go back to it and I think, wow, that music's really good.
It's held up.
One of my favorite songs I liked was "Hello, Hello." That's a really good one. Love that song.
We still sing that one together.
Yeah.
So it's nice to revisit the old songs with Claudia because they take on a new life now, which is really fun.
Well, that's the joy of music making too, is sometimes I didn't listen to all of Dan Zanes' music. Like I knew a lot of it, but when I'd met Dan and we started dating and started making music together, he would play songs on the guitar and I have an ear where I can hear harmonies and stuff. So then we started creating our very own sound. So that was a really cool thing too, was like, the freedom that music allows you, when you are with another person and music making, it's kind of like your souls are just shining together and you're finding your way together. So that's really what happened with some of these songs. Later, when I went back to listen to them, I'm like, wow, that sounds very different from the way Dan and I sing it. But it's beautiful. One song that served its purpose at another time can also serve its purpose in a new time as well. The same song, different sound.
I know House Party was also on Playhouse Disney also.
Dan Zanes' House.
That's the one I remember.
Yeah.
How does it
Yeah.
feel for your music videos to be featured on Playhouse Disney and Noggin, Dan?
Yeah.
You know what? It was really fun because at that time I would get recognized a lot, and not only in New York but out on this. It wasn't so much fun for my daughter because she just wanted her dad to be a dad, but we would walk.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
People would stop us and want to have conversations, and so she learned that she would have to be patient, and we would talk about it too. And I would say, the fans are important, because if we don't have, if the fans aren't there, then I'm gonna, I don't have a job anymore. And these are the people that support us and love our music. So we have a tremendous appreciation for the people that love the music. And that's why we wanted to come to your podcast today, because we appreciated the invitation, and we could tell that you were enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Means a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That really means a lot.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Well, it means a lot to us too. It's a two-way street,
That's right.
relationship.
True.
So another question for the both of you is how did the two of you, kind of meet?
I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. I'm gonna short.
We got time for a long one.
So long story short, I had a dear friend. She's also a Haitian-American vocalist, and we'd met at school out in Boston. And she lived in New York. And so she invited me to come visit her for a long weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend. I had nothing going on. And she said, while you're here, I want to introduce you to someone. His name is Dan Zanes. I met him this summer. He seems really cool. Your background, I'm a music therapist. And she was like, your work as a music therapist and Dan's work as a child, making family musician, making children's music. She was like, I think y'all would get along. So, I want to introduce you to him. I said, okay, sounds good, whatever. So I came to visit her, and we took a trip to East Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York. And Dan was out there, and I'll never forget it. It was a sunny day. It was also, like I said, Memorial Day weekend. So Carnival was getting ready. Folks are getting, Dan lived in a West Indian neighborhood. So there was a lot of folks getting their costumes together for Carnival. I come to Dan's doorway, and he's sitting on his stoop with a ukulele in his hand. I think it was. And so kind of the rest was history. Like, I came into his house, and I remember his beautiful artwork all over the walls. But the thing that really grabbed my heart was he has an extensive record collection. And his record collection was a lot of Haitian records that I grew up with, that my dad used to play when I was a kid.
Wow.
These were records I hadn't seen in years. And I'm seeing them just sitting on this man's floor. And I'm like, this isn't the Dan Zanes I thought it was. And so that's really how we met. And so my dear friend Pauline Jean is her name. Where we're having this interview with you right now, we're actually sitting at the very table that I'd met Dan at. We sat around this table.
Wow.
He pulled out the guitar, and we would just call out tunes. Some tunes I knew, some I didn't. And we just sang, and we had great conversation, ate guacamole and plantain chips. And it was epic. It was very memorable. And we've only built from that point. We've only built up from there.
I bet.
That's real nice.
So you talked on music therapy just then. How did music therapy come about?
Well, that's a great question. So how it came about, so like a lot of things in life, it falls into your lap. This was something I'd never heard of before. I'd never heard of music therapy, but I was in a performing arts group out in Los Angeles, and I picked up the mail one day, and I got this magazine from Berklee College of Music, and on the cover of the magazine was a man in a jacket, and I just remember seeing the words music therapy, and I was like, whoa, I've never seen those two words together, but it makes sense. So I flipped through the magazine, and I started reading and learning a little bit more about music therapy and how I already knew music was purposeful in our lives, but it was sort of almost touching into the scientific reasoning as well, evidence-based music therapy, how it can serve us in a number of ways, in academics, with rehabilitation, with certain disorders and disabilities. So I was really curious about how music can be used to heal and how it can be used to unify on deeper levels. And so I knew, again, like I said, I had a little inkling of that. I had an understanding in this performing arts group working and understanding the power of music. But I read that and I was curious enough to do a little more research. And then I enrolled to Berklee College of Music. And that's where I got my degree in music therapy. And I worked with a large population, you know, working in hospital settings, working in nursing homes, working in school settings, and just working with, you know, kids of all different ability levels using music as the vehicle.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I know you're also a jazz vocalist, jazz singer. What were some of your experiences doing, you know, jazz?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I got into jazz music in high school. I was a late bloomer. Some people say, what? It took you that long? Yes, I was a late bloomer. So I learned about jazz music in high school. I was inspired by, you know, Ella Fitzgerald, Nina Simone, Shirley Horn, Sarah, you know, Sarah Vaughan. All these people really inspired me. And I really, there was something about the freedom of jazz that really resonated with me. So I started to sing with different groups in California, and then I started touring. And I was actually just sharing with Dan today because, you know, we see so much division happening right now. There's the fighting that's happening in the Ukraine right now. Yeah. With Russia and you know, and there's just, our hearts go out to everybody because it's truly heartbreaking. But for me too, I have a very personal relationship with Russia as well, because I used to go to Russia once a year, probably for about 8 years, because there is a deep love for jazz music out in Russia. And so they were very gracious and welcoming to me when I would come out there. They wanted to hear the music, very receptive. And so it really is heartbreaking. So at this particular point in life too, I'm like connecting, I'm reminiscing a lot about the experiences that I had on some of the most beautiful stages I ever got to perform on in Russia. But jazz, I really believe just music in general has been my passport. I kind of say that music has allowed me to travel all over the world, you know, to different places, and also to be able to collaborate with different musicians. And that's what Dan and I are doing now too. You know, we're writing a lot of songs together, and we're also incorporating some of the jazz elements into the music that we're making today.
Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was it like? What was it like getting to work with Dan for the first time?
Oh my, mind blowing. I mean, it's Dan Zanes. I was so nervous. I was really nervous. I had a girlfriend. Our first show was in Chicago at the Old Town School of Folk. Mm-hmm. And that was our first date and our first show. And so I was really nervous. And I remember calling my girlfriend who lived in Wisconsin. She was coming to see the show, and I was like, what am I going to wear? And she hand sewed me a skirt and a top that I wore on stage. And I just remember being so nervous. Like, I hope I sing all my notes right. But it was fun. Like, making music with Dan, it really gave me I was able to see like how much the audience, you know, loved and appreciated everything that my husband has done and brought to the genre of music. And so to see the audience looking up, and for me to be up there with him, was very overwhelming, but very powerful too. Because I think it's really powerful to look at a stage and to see an interracial couple as well, you know, to see these little kids looking up at the stage and seeing the two of us in love and in music is a very powerful image as well. So really uplifting. It was very inspiring. It still is.
I bet it is. Awesome. Hey, Julius, I think you should ask a question.
Oh, I was going to ask, not this one coming up, but the one afterwards too. Sure, you can do that. This is for Claudia. What is your? You said you were a big fan of Dan. What's your favorite song from Dan?
Oh my!
There you go. We stumped her.
Just one? I can only pick one song.
You don't have to pick just one.
I can pick multiple if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can pick a few.
That's hard to pick a favorite. So
Okay, I mean, I have several. Like, I love Wonder Wheel. Never gets old for me.
Yes, that is a really good one.
I love that song. I love the harmonies.
The music video for it too is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Exactly. Coney Island too. I like the groove. I love a beat that I can rock to.
Yeah.
So I love that, but I also love the beauty of Smile, Smile, Smile. That's one of my favorites.
Yes.
And I know you asked for one. What's that one called? The one for the one that we sang not for the long night. That's the one we wrote together. But I can't remember the name. We made a video of it during the inauguration. We it's going to come to me, and you're going to hear me blurt it out. A few questions.
Okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
We've been down this road before. There we go. We've been down this road before. Yeah. That's
okay. It's all right. It's all right. The other question I was going to ask. You mentioned Boston and Brooklyn. What are your? This is for the both of you. What are some of your favorite touring locations that you've been to and performed at?
Oh, great questions. You take that one, man.
You know what pops to my mind right away is Toronto.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's one of the first places we went together, and it's the place where we found Claudia's engagement ring.
Oh my!
Toronto.
That's right.
It's awesome. Such a beautiful city.
We had a blast in Toronto. Wow. Chicago, of course. And you know what? Asheville is sticking out in my mind too.
Asheville is nice.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
That was the first place we went to do axe throwing. It was a sport out there that we'd never done before, but it was a good time. So yeah, Asheville.
There's someone wants to say hello to you guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Julius.
You can't really tell where Rezi's hair ends and my hair begins.
Yeah, they're twins.
Oh my gosh, I just realized that too.
Wait, what did you realize?
What's
nothing? I'll compare the.
What's your dog's name?
Her name is Rezi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Cute. You're welcome.
So, another question for the both of you: How did the idea of making your shows sensory friendly come about? Because I know that's something that's kind of been a thing kind of recently, is making your shows sensory friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've been doing it since our very first show in Chicago that we talked about. Right before I met Claudia, someone had asked me to come down to Lancaster, Pennsylvania and do a sensory friendly show. I'd never heard of sensory friendly before, but when I got down there and I did it, I realized immediately that what was happening was that we're creating conditions in which more people could be comfortable and enjoy the music. It seems so simple, and it seemed like more people were able to, like I said, be comfortable at the show and enjoy the music. So it felt like something, consider something like a wheelchair ramp, where you see the simplicity of a wheelchair ramp and you think, well, of course, we want to have those everywhere because we want to have that kind of access for everybody. There's no downside to it. It's only a positive thing. And that's the way I felt about sensory friendly. And so when I talked to Claudia, because she was a music therapist, she knew what I was talking about right away. And so we committed ourselves to trying to talk to as many of the theaters about sensory friendly. So that's what we've been doing for 5 years is, when we're going to a theater, we'll always say, if you haven't done sensory friendly yet, can we make our show sensory friendly so that you can see why this is important and you can see how easy it is to create these conditions in which more people can be themselves,
Yeah.
And we've found that it's been a richer experience for us as the artists, of course, and also for the audience as well. There's something about looking out into the audience and the audience looking around at each other and seeing that space represents more of the country they live in. You're seeing people from all different walks of life.
Yeah.
And it just creates for a deeper connection, a more beautiful and real connection as well. So it's really about accessibility and opening that door wider to involve and include, be inclusive, be more inclusive.
What's been helpful for us too is that more so I think for me, because Claudia had more experience already, but just to always be reminded that we all think differently. We all process information differently. We all react differently. The neurodiversity is a real thing, and it's a beautiful thing. And so to really recognize that and experience that and celebrate that has been a beautiful part of life for us.
So, who are some of your favorite artists to collab with?
Well,
Claudia Zanes.
Nice answer.
Answer of all time.
That's it.
You all knew that one was coming. I had a feeling.
Yep.
Who else?
Good question.
Good answer.
Dan collaborated with some pretty incredible artists, though.
Yeah, that's been something that was fun about the Dan Zanes and Friends records all along. But someone like Lou Reed was really great. The Kronos Quartet, that string quartet, was really nice, and Philip Glass and Carol Channing from Hello Dolly, and
oh yeah,
a lot of the Five Blind Boys of Alabama, the gospel group. So when I look at the list of people, I feel so grateful, because how would this have ever happened? What a life. There's so much to be grateful for every day. So I just I appreciate that you reminded me of that. And then of course, to be here with Claudia and to be able to make to be able to make a record during the pandemic like we did last year.
There you go.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys have anything to show about like Dan Zanes Friends or anything?
Can you repeat that one more time? Sorry, our internet.
Do you guys have anything to show like from Dan Zanes or Friends or anything?
Ooh.
Something to show?
Yeah.
Well, we do have a picture that we want to show. You mean to literally show you on the screen? Okay. We're going to show you something that you're not going to believe.
All right.
So we talked about Lead Belly.
Yeah.
And Dan Zanes and Friends did a Lead Belly song called The Gray Goose, which is on the Catch Train.
Wow.
So I did a record, and Claudia was on it too, called Lead Belly Baby. And it was all songs that Lead Belly sang for young audiences. So we did a concert in New York, and on stage was a graffiti artist, and you could see he had a blank canvas and a bunch of paint. And we came out and we started singing the songs. We're singing all Lead Belly songs, and during the concert, he painted a picture of Lead Belly.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And he did the whole thing during the concert. Live behind us.
Oh wow.
So now, here we go. Now we're going to show you.
That's awesome.
Oh, that is amazing.
Goodness.
That's so cool.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Look at that. Can you tell how big it is?
Just phenomenal.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's really, really big. You can tell. You can see how small I look in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you even think of that?
It's really big. And it was cool because the audience, not only did they get to hear the wonderful music of Lead Belly, but while they're watching, they're also being stimulated visually, watching this piece of art come to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A blank
That's
canvas
awesome.
created this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's probably the most impressive thing we have to show you.
There
Yeah.
you go. You topped all the other
Beautiful.
So for the both of you, do you have any advice for people who want to get into music or sing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've got, I mean, My biggest piece of advice is to just do it. Because I think that, we've kind of moved away from the community music making, singing. We've kind of left it to professionals. I'm putting these in air quotes, we all have a voice. We all have a sound. Yeah. And I think sometimes we know that music really brings out it's oxytocin. It does great things for you. It feels good. So I would just encourage people to go for it. Do it, sing it, find people to sing with or sing alone, whatever works. Just make music. It's hard to be in a bad mood making music, like it kind of. I know in these last couple of years with the pandemic and everything happening, music has been one of my saving graces because it really helps to put you in a positive headspace. That's what it does for me. Yeah. So I would encourage folks to do it. Make music.
Definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
I would say something just almost exactly what Claudia just said. I completely agree. Sometimes if it's singing or playing guitar or whatever it is, sometimes what is helpful for me is just to pick one song and, learn the words to one song and start singing it when I'm walking around the neighborhood, or if I'm trying to play a Django Reinhardt piece, which is way outside of my range, but just to pick one little part of it and learn that, so start small and build from there so it doesn't feel overwhelming. Right. But just to know that this is something that as human beings, we're all meant to be creative in some way. We're all meant to be musical in some way, whatever that is, for each of our abilities.
I guess, and to add to what Dan said, I've been reading this book called Atomic Habits. And one of the pieces of advice that he gives to us is to try something for just, even if it's only 2 minutes a day, rather than saying, sing or play an instrument for 15, 20 minutes a day. That can seem a little overwhelming. So maybe just bite-sized pieces. So just saying, because we can do anything for 2 minutes, right? So And if you go for longer, then great, but maybe make it a goal for just, even if it has to be 1 minute, just do a little something every day.
I think that's really great advice. Yeah. Really
Let's come back on the podcast in the future.
Would we come back?
Yeah, on the podcast in the future.
Did we make the cut? Did we pass the audition?
Everybody.
Of course we did.
Of course.
Pretty much everybody else has.
We'd love to come back.
Somebody will get a music. No, you know what we'll do? Next time we have a music party, one of them will get a musical instrument play with you. The party.
We'd love to come back. This has been a lot of fun.
So do you have any words to say to your fans of your work, which would be for both of you?
Just how much we appreciate, there's a million and one things that any one of us could do with our time during the course of the day. So we appreciate anyone who finds their way to our music, or who comes online to see videos of us doing things, or goes to social media to follow us, all these things. We just really appreciate the connection that we have with the people that that's what keeps us going.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just to add to what Dan's saying, time is the most precious gift anyone can give, because it's one of those things we don't get back, right? What you give is what you give. So we just appreciate our fans so much. And I want to say too, from the bottom of our hearts, especially in these last couple of years, things have changed. We're not on the stages in the same ways that we used to be, seeing fans face to face. But the beauty of technology, the gift of technology, is that we've been able to find ways to stay connected. We've connected with so many new fans too. Folks that we've been able to be in contact with through the Social Isolation song series that we did throughout the course of the pandemic. And so it's just been, and hearing the words of encouragement that have come from people, it has really fueled us and fed our spirits and our souls. So we just want to say we love the fans from the bottom of our hearts. We're grateful for you, and we hope to see you in person one day soon. But
yes, I would definitely love to come to a show, because I've been a fan.
So would we.
Probably since Playhouse Disney. I've been a fan since the Disney days, so that probably would be
we'll bring our whole crew. we
We're
could
doing this
do
market
that.
well.
Oh yeah,
Where do you all live?
absolutely. Yeah, even me,
I'm in
I come
Ohio.
too.
I am in Massachusetts. It was really
Arkansas.
cool hearing you mention New
Yeah, I'm in
Hampshire.
Ohio.
I'm from New England, but yeah, no, I would love to come to a show because I've been a fan since the Disney days, which is probably
Yes.
16, 17 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Also, Matt and
yeah.
Jakey are in Maryland. It is-
Yep,
Yep.
Me and Matt are in Maryland, so
yep.
Yes.
We're in Maryland.
Oh, that'll be a treat. We hope that happens. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even better, all of us come to a show together. Like the five of us come to see you guys.
Yes,
Oh,
make
we-
it
We
happen.
do one where we all meet up
Make it
together and then
happen.
we all get to see
Make it
you.
happen.
So
Make
That
it
would be
happen.
Yeah,
lovely.
what's up?
That's
He's
something.
with Joey at home.
Jake's having started show me up. There, yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Matt,
make it happen.
Matt,
Start planning.
That's
Matt,
right.
What I said.
Yeah. I heard you.
Matt, I said, make it happen. Leave Joey at home.
Oh, he can say it
This
all he
is
wants.
funny.
Don't ask
It's
him
a
to-
long story about that.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
when-
another
maybe-
podcast.
Maybe,
Oh.
well, another show really, but
Yeah.
we maybe when we guess, maybe we can tell about that. We're gonna be here for days about that. Oh yeah.
So, if people want to contact either of you, where can people find you on social media?
Well, we are on Instagram and we're on Facebook at Dan and Claudia Zanes. So they can find us there. We post quite a bit. We do songs. We share some behind the scenes stuff. So come and follow us there. We also have our website, www.danandclaudia.
Zane.
No, danandclaudia.com.
Yeah.
Yep. And where else are we? Facebook, Instagram, and the website, and the YouTube. Yes, we have a
Yes.
YouTube channel,
Nice.
Dan and Claudia
Yep.
Zanes as well.
All of those
Yeah.
is going to be in the description down below, so y'all can
Yep.
subscribe to them and
I'll be in
follow
the description.
and everything, and
Yeah.
the website too.
Yeah.
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 There's only two people who have asked this question on the podcast. That's Jakey or Matt. Jakey, I think you should take this.
Yeah. So since we're talking about, the show is Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, and it kind of makes sense, since they were going to have this last question, sis. What's something
Yeah,
that's
that's
nostalgic
debuting
to
episode
you?
21.
What was the question?
What's something that's nostalgic to you?
Or what defines nostalgia for you?
yeah,
Yeah.
what do you find nostalgic?
Yeah.
So
Wow, nostalgic. I think when I think about nostalgia, I think of it as a positive thing.
Yeah.
definitely.
I think of it as a positive thing, and I think about memories and experiences as a place that I can go sometimes to escape is the wrong word, but it's a place where I can go to
No comfort.
for comfort. Exactly. And to remind myself of the blessings that I've experienced in this life, to remind myself that here's an example. I don't need to be in a touring rock and roll band right now because I was in a touring rock and roll band and I had that experience. And so I can go back to those memories, to that nostalgia, or I could go back to the nostalgia of Dan Zanes and Friends and enjoy that I had those experiences. And then it makes me so grateful that I'm here having these new, richer experiences with Claudia.
Wow, that's so good. Oh my, yeah. I mean, everything that Dan said. I mean, for me too, I think nostalgia is a very positive thing. To me, it's sort of a reminisce, if you will. So it's a place that I can go to that reminds me that this was real. This is real. And so, for example, my family lives in California. My parents, my brother's out there. I miss them like crazy. I would love to see them more often, but I'm really grateful for the nostalgia of the memories that we have had the gift to share, and I have also the nostalgia when I think about my grandparents who are no longer here in earthly form, but like I have these memories, these very vivid memories of my time with them. So that nostalgia, it fuels me, and I think it also is a compass in a way of like where I'm going in life because I know where I've come from. So it's that
definitely.
taking that and leading me into what is to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like for me, like I have cousins who I haven't seen in, long time, and I always look back at the memories I've had with them, and that's
I have cousins that only
I can definitely relate to that.
I have cousins that I only like see on like holidays like Thanksgiving or Christmas. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then you have those memories to carry with you.
That's right.
Yeah, they will cherish forever.
Yep,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh man, on behalf of everyone, we cannot thank you both enough for being on the podcast today.
Thank you so much.
Has been a
blast. And like what Wyatt said, you're all worth it.
Yes, you're
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Chris and Matt and Wyatt and Matthew.
Yes.
Julius.
Ring, ring.
Yeah, we
Marty over there is jealous.
Nah, he's gotten to meet some others. He's fine. He's fine. We switch out from time to time because he's been doing puppeteering almost 2 years now. Yeah, I usually switch on and off between characters. So it's fun. Yeah, we might have a third one coming probably this summer.
So.
Wow.
Being made by Matt, right?
Yes.
What's it?
So, I said it's being made by you, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm making it myself.
Cool. The maker.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. Nice.
Awesome. Well, this was such a treat, guys. Really.
This really was. This was fantastic. Yeah.
Y'all are good at what you do. Thank you for putting
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
Hey, well, 30 episodes already. We started last year
because we've been doing this for almost a year now. So
30 episodes.
And I've been doing podcasting for about probably 6 years now.
Wow.
Because I was on another podcast. Yeah, I was on another podcast previously called the DJ Bob Show, which is wonderful. And it's kind of, a similar concept to what this show is.
And Bob sometimes helps us get guests also.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
He's wonderful.
Great. And how did you all find each other?
We've known each other for a while. I think out of all of us, me and Wyatt have probably known each other the longest.
Yeah. Okay.
So or either me and Wyatt or me and Chris have probably known each other out of this group for the longest.
Okay.
I've known both of them for a while. So
Jake and I have known each other. What, Jake? Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years we've known each other.
I only met Matt recently.
A lot of them I met.
So
I think it was this year. I think it was
this year. So
just before Christmas, I think it was. I first met a lot of them.
Well, y'all work really well together. This is really great. Well, congratulations again, guys. Keep up the great work.
Thank
you.
you.
Have you back on.
Yes,
we'll definitely keep in touch.
That. And hopefully you got a show one of these days, okay?
Definitely, yes.
Definitely, for sure.
Like what Chris said, thank you so much for you both being on the show. Keep up the great work of what you're doing, and keep up what you're doing, and and can't wait what you guys will be doing in the future. So to keep up what you're doing.
You're worth it.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And to all our fans watching or listening, thank you so much for watching this.
They are worth it all.
Almost 30 episodes.
Yes. This is our 29th episode. Next one is the big 30.
We got something big next week.
Big guests.
We got
something big next week.
Maybe possibly doing something special for it. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Got some big stuff coming
for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Great. Following.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much with the support and everything for watch 29 episodes, and
you are worth it.
We appreciate the support, and you keep up with the support and everything because we appreciate it so much.
Yeah,
thank you all so much for watching, and see y'all next time for a big 30th episode. And from all of us, all of you, see you next time.
And stay nostalgic.
Stay nostalgic. You're worth it.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
See you next time on another episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Be sure to follow us on social media and stream us wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Bye-bye.